Hi Enzo, not too bad. You got more questions for me? No problem. Well, the Construction Industry Scheme, or CIS, is a scheme that applies to contractors and subcontractors in mainstream construction work. It can apply to businesses and organisations who have a large annual spend on construction, and they then get caught as contractors and deemed to be contractors in their own right. It's been around since around 2002, but it has been extensively revised around 2007. The scheme is essentially a special set of rules set up for handling payments made by contractors to subcontractors for construction work done by them. If your business is involved in the construction industry, either operating as a contractor or a subcontractor, then the likelihood is that you should register for the scheme. Both terms, subcontractor and contractor, are well defined within the rules of the scheme, and you'd need to contact the revenue to get detailed accounts of what actually is a subcontractor and a contractor to see whether you actually need to be within the scheme. Once you've determined whether you will be a subcontractor, a contractor, or potentially both, then you need to register. To do this is fairly straightforward. Subcontractors, when you obtain a contractor to do work which is covered within the scheme, then you need to register as soon as possible. You call HM Revenue and Customs. You call their CIS helpline. Numbers are either on the Revenue website. For quickness, it can be 0845 366 7899, or what they're trying to get most people to do is register online. You'll need certain pieces of information, and ultimately, once you register, it then provides you with a construction industry scheme number, which you then provide to all of your contractors that you work for when you enter a construction contract with them. This means that they can then contact the revenue, they can then give them your details and your number, and they can verify you as an official subcontractor, and it will determine what rate of tax they deduct from the pay that they have to give you. If you are a verified subcontractor, then generally the standard rate of tax is 20%. So should you invoice someone £1,000, then they will deduct £200 from you, give you £800, and the other £200 they will pay over to HM Revenue and Customs for you, and this will be deducted against any tax liability you then calculate for yourself at the end of the year. Vice versa, if you are a contractor, you need to register the same way as you would do with a subcontractor, giving the revenue certain piece of information about your company or your sole tradership, and then you are then registered as a contractor, and when you employ a subcontractor to do some work, you then have to take on the role of verifying them with the revenue, and then you will deduct their tax for them and pay it over to the revenue every month. There are certain changes in the CIS scheme in terms of, if you are large enough, you can apply for gross registration, gross payment, which means that you don't get any CIS tax taken from you. But there are certain complex situations that you need to cover before you can be classed as a gross payment. You could also be classed if you're not verified with the revenue, then they won't allow you to be taxed at 20%, and you will need to be taxed at 30%, which is a key reason why, if you are a subcontractor, you need to get verified with the revenue very, very quickly. So that's basically the start of the CIS scheme. I mean, it obviously goes into far more detail in terms of how you go about submitting contractors' returns, subcontractors' returns, etc., etc. But in terms of establishing whether you are a contractor or a subcontractor, there are guidelines on the Revenue website. There are guidelines within the Accountancy Services Direct website as well. And should you need any more information on that, then you can give us a call. if a contractor or subcontractor needs help either registering with the revenue, establishing whether they are caught within the scheme, or anything else around the CIS, then yes, they can go onto the revenue website themselves, or they can easily contact us or their own accountants or tax advisors, and it should be able to be handled with them quite straightforwardly. I mean, we do it every day for clients. It's a straightforward process. It just requires certain levels of information that we need. Thanks very much, Enzo.